Done that in a while, but I brought in some magnetic divers, and I want to explain people that maybe didn't see the video or whatever on how they work. But the idea behind the magnetic diver is that everybody knows about a dip sea diver, but that's plastic against metal, and there's no way to really control it. So I came up with the idea of a magnet, so that it sets in the water, dives, a fish pulls on it so it changes the angle. It releases the magnet and then planes up through the water. The fish would get off. You just give it slack, it falls, resets itself, and you're fishing. Like I was fishing with Bud Reiser the other day, and he says, check the diver. Well, if you got a dip sea diver and you're not sure if you're pulling a little fish or whatever, you don't want to trip it and bring it in, because it's all that line bringing it in and all that line going out. So he said, go check that rod. So I take the rod and I pop it, which I would have done this, and it comes up. It doesn't come to the surface, but it comes to like within 5 feet. And, oh, there's no fish. Okay, give it slack, and it falls, sets itself, and it's diving, and it dives back down. Put a little rattle in it, so the vibration would help attract fish. The other thing is I put this little corrugated piece on the back of the flipper. And the reason I did that is I could take Kodiak scent and put it on this little plate, and it'll hold it, and it would stay for like maybe half hour. So there was a way to get scent onto the diver itself as an added attraction. But so you could be, and fish always go up when you're trolling. So you could have this diving and say, and there's 3 sizes. This will go, there's a chart to maximum of 40 feet, and the other ones go deeper and whatever. But the object of it is, this could be diving down at, say, 40 feet. And you look on a graph and you mark, oh, there's some fish at 25 feet. So you pop it, so it then starts planing up through the water column, and it'll pass through where those fish are that are feeding. And so often that will trigger a strike. So you can actually hold it and fish it, which the normal dip sea you can't do.
That's directional too, right?
Directional, right? You dial it to the right, or you can dial it to the left, and it'll plane away from the boat. So you could run theoretically 6 of them, one way out on the maximum setting, one halfway, and one straight behind the boat. So you could actually have 6 rods. But the other cool thing that I actually forgot about on the Super Magnum, because it's such a big disc, it planes way out to the side. Excuse me. So what I'll do is take out, excuse me, the little plate completely out so it can't trip, that it's going to stay in this position all the time, and I dial it way off to the right. So now what happens is this plane's away from the boat, but is only down maybe 15 feet. Because of the size of it. But what happens is, if you look at the line doesn't go out to the side. The line actually goes behind the boat and then makes a bit of a J. So it is out here, but the line seems like it's straight behind. So you could run some down below and run this off to the side. And when you bring it in, you'll see it comes out from, it's like using a planer board that you could run a spoon off of. You know, planer boards there's no way on a planer board to get a spoon down by itself. So by using this particular one, it can take the place of a planer board, which I would think would be great in the fall, for the fall brawl, where you can have them off to the side and then maybe run some plugs right behind the boat. But this will be off to the side, and you can run a spoon or a shallow plug or whatever, and it'll be away from the boat. But because of that big disc, it planes way out to the side. And then, like I say, you could use a Kodiak on there as an added attraction. Mm-hmm. But there's the 3 different sizes, but I thought I'd explain that to show.
There's the charts.
There's the charts that shows what the depths are for the distances, because it's all determined by the amount of line you let out as to how deep it goes. But the whole thing is the release. Being magnetic is just so much better than the standard dip sea, because it's so much easier to do, and really been good between selling them on Amazon and eBay and on my website, Castaway.com.
Last week, Tim Wilcox and I, out on his boat, we had
it was one of the black ones. It was just like the one in there. So we had it on, and it pulled, probably tied for the most fish. We were running a shallow diving crankbait off of it, a bomber, a fire perch colored shallow bomber, and we did really well on it and caught the bigger fish on that. And it's great. You can, and sometimes the fish would get off, you just let a little slack in the line and it would go right back down. And instead of having to bring it all the way up and bring it to the boat and reset the clip and then set it back down. So very easy, very convenient, and you could work it up and down through the fish, because the fish, they're in so many different levels. You'll have fish all the way down to 30, 40 feet, and then there'll be some up, 8, 10 feet under the water. And like Joe said, if you trip it, it'll come up, and you can work that plug in those different depths of fish. So definitely works. And it's always good to add a little bit of scent to your baits. And I know the Kodiak, Joe's got shad, he's got minnow, he's got everything. He's got every flavor, He'd be jelly donut too. So, but and Andrew's donut, we put some shad in his jelly donut. So I don't know. He's doing good though. He's in there
Having fun.
Yeah. So, but yeah, those magnetic divers really work, and the bigger ones, the magnums. If you go up to Lake Ontario or Lake Michigan salmon fishing, they're awesome, because you can really get them deep too. You can get them down there deep where the salmon are, and has a bigger weight, bigger disc, and could really get them down deep. So good stuff. Those working the salmon the same way. Salmon and the brown trout and the steelhead, and steelhead are coming, boys. Steelhead are coming.